Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Mr. Kata. How are you?
What's up?
No, that's a different show.
We are back. Bill and Oscar with Focus on You. And of course, we had to bring the man, the myth, the legend back on our
Here I am.
platform.
Thank you.
Nope, that's not you, man. That's
Okay.
me. Yeah, so it's Focus on Me. Let me get my mic over here.
There we go. You sound like you're talking out of a barrel.
Barrel, barrel, barrel. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, welcome back to Focus on You. And what's the name of the guy that we have coming on again?
Oh, he's known worldwide. He's going to be in Bangladesh soon. He's a published author, Drew Barrymore. No, Drew Deraney. I'm sorry. And I'm spacing backstage going, oh, what did I get into?
Oh
Sorry,
man,
Drew. Can't help it.
Yeah.
I'm on my 17th cup of tea, so I'm like caffeinated.
I like your advertising there, man. Like your
Oh,
advertising. The Bishop's Corner. Yeah, yeah. We're going to have a little bit of a conversation about that because we're going to go into the PNN update. I'm going to give you a little bit of something about what we're doing here at PNN. Ah, man, this is great. We know when you know you're doing something that you just love to do and you're supposed to be doing it and you just like, you're just in sync with the flow of it, right? You
yeah.
just know what it's
Yep.
supposed to be. Yeah. Yeah.
It's called napping for me.
Yeah. I mean, we know what you do, but I'm just telling you this. I love, 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 love sharing the great stuff that's going on and the people that we're doing it with. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. So here we go. Boom. Do you see that? Do you see that? This is
The woman getting
our,
poked in the head with the drop of water.
well, that's how you see the world, Oscar. But, we're talking to real people out there now.
Oh, okay.
So here's the deal. This is our website, pnnstationplus.com. And we want you to go visit this website because it has some great information for you to be able to, grow your business, start a podcast, start a business. I mean, we are going all in on helping our audience get in touch with their entrepreneurial self. And the reason we want you to do that is because, I mean, it's the way to go, right? If you know anything about like life and work, you could work a W 2 all your life and be paying a majority of the taxes that are in this world to pay. Thank you very much for your W 2. That is great. But then there is that 1099 guy, that W 9 guy that can write off some things, expenses, electricity bill, his rent, his mortgage. I
Phone,
mean,
car, gas,
car, man. I mean, air.
lunches. Yeah, right.
And we want to show you how you can save money doing that. Okay.
Hairspray.
We need to show you how to save money and to make money doing that. So that you could join our website, PNN Station Plus, and we give you some information. We have our meetings on Thursdays at 8 a.m. and also on Fridays, just for you guys that are not early birds. We have it on Friday now for 12 p.m. starting next Friday. So join us. All you have to do is go to pnnstationplus.com and click the link, and it will take you to your destination. Ow! That sounds like a soul song, right? And as we go on, let me show you a few more things. Now, if you'd like to watch us on Roku and Amazon Fire TV, here's the fastest way to do it. When you go to PNN Station Plus, you can click either one of these, the Roku or the Amazon Fire link, and register to watch us on the Phoenix National Network.org. And you'll be able to download the app on your Roku or Amazon Fire TV Fire Stick and watch some of our special programs that we have there for you. We have content on Roku and Amazon that we don't have anywhere else. So catch up and log in, register, and learn a little bit more about us. Also, you can join us on YouTube. I see you see the guy with the gray hair and the funny looking glasses. He's on there too, and
Oh,
he's
oh,
giving.
oh, oh. Are you
He
throwing
gives.
rocks in that glass house of yours?
Hey,
Okay.
I wasn't talking about you. See, you just assumed I was talking about you. But yeah, we have some great programs on here. I remember that. You remember that program with the muffins?
I
Remember
was
the
just going to
program?
bring that up to ruin your
Yeah,
day.
that I still remember, and that's why I'm featuring it because we have via Chef Melissa. She was on our program and she gave us some great tips on muffins. I love me some muffins. Don't even get started. Even though I have to eat now, like I have to eat the sugar-free, salt-free, taste-free muffins. I just pretend it tastes like regular muffins. That's all. You know.
I like the taste free part. Mmm.
Oh my goodness, so
Melba
good.
toast and butterfly wings. Yeah, that's what I need today.
Nothing but. So yeah, go on again. The PNN Station Plus website, and you'll be able to watch some of our favorite videos. Like, share, tell your friends about it. Now, this is where we're going to be talking about some of the services that we do offer. Let's say you do decide to do a podcast with us. We have some affiliates. We have some people we partner with that a few people that we partner with to make sure it happens for you. All right. If you don't have a website, we have a web designer. If you want to know how to market your social media, we have somebody that does that. If you want to do a personal consultation on any of these, we do that. You want to build your own app, we have that. You need us to set up your studio, we do that. All right. And we also offer virtual studio time so that you can record your podcast. Wow. All right. Okay, Oscar. I think we're doing it. These are some of our partners here on the network. We have Claudia Mariolanda, which is one of our newer partners, and we have Nancy Stingtone, right? Did I say that right? Yes, I did. Richard Cusio and myself and many others. I just
And,
recommend you
and the
check this
most the
out.
most loving and patient woman in the world, right there, Dornell Reed.
Dornell Reed. But she married me.
Why she's patient.
Yeah, she needed a whole lot of love to marry me. It needed a whole lot of love because, anyways, I'm friends with Oscar, so she needs patience too. All right, so here we go. We if you want to sign up, there's a section here that you can do that. We'll give you a lot more information. I'm a part of an organization called Master Networks. And if you want to meet a group of some genuine, really nice folks to work with, partner with, I've met most of the people we see on this network. I've met them. We've partnered together, and we're just doing life and business together. And this is amazing. So I recommend it to everyone to check out Master Networks. Yeah. All
Life,
right.
business, and lunch. We do lunch every once in a while.
Lunch. Oh yeah. So, okay, you want to start a business? Come right here. You want to start a podcast? Come right here. We have several people who are willing and able to coach you through the entire process. If you see a program that you like and you'd like to support them, click that button right there. It says support our network, and you'll be able to support the program of your desire. And it goes directly to that program. All right. So we want to support entrepreneurs in our community and promote success and dreams of folks that desire to touch the world with their message, especially a person such as Deraney, who is going to be on today. And we're very excited about being able to do that. Now let me go into a little bit of what this Bishop's Corner. We have a Bishop's Corner program that we have on Thursdays at 8. We have changed the entire setup of that, how we're going to broadcast it. We're no longer going to be on Facebook. Bishop's Corner is no longer going to be broadcasted on Facebook. In fact, PNN is not going to be broadcasted on Facebook anymore. We are going straight to YouTube and our own platform on Roku and Amazon Fire TV, as well as in every other platform that's out there. Check us out on Spotify. Check us out on iHeartRadio. Listen in. We are everywhere, literally about everywhere. So listen in to hear what we have to say, and some of our folks here have to say. This is a great place to get great information, and they've all been vetted. They're all professionals in the field that they're in, so don't have to worry about that. Oscar,
Talk to me.
how does it feel to be a part of PNN right now?
Oh, same way it felt 3 years ago when we were just like trying to get this off the ground. Going, what are we doing? Where's the camera? I got to shave.
Am I in my underwear? What's it? Oh my goodness! Shut the camera off. Stop the stream.
Background cat running around everywhere.
Anyway, without any further ado, we're going to invite our good friend Drew Deraney. He's going to come on. We're going to have a great conversation about the dysfunctionality of men.
Yeah, right
women,
there. You're looking at it.
women already know the dysfunctionality of men. You know, it just comes with the territory of being a man. So, welcome, Drew. What's up,
gentlemen? How are you?
Good, good.
Is that
Dysfunctionality of men? Did I hear you right? Dysfunction.
Men and their dysfunctions, and men.
The poster children of dysfunctional men.
He's supposed to be on our side, Oscar.
There's one thing that we all know that men suffer from, and it's called hoof and mouth syndrome. Okay.
I thought it was nagging from the wives.
Oh no, it's called hoof and mouth. We say stuff and it comes out of our mouth, and then we just put the hoof in the mouth because you can't take it back, and it's already out there causing damage to the world, and you'll be subservient to it for the rest of your life. Okay, there you go.
That's in a book. Men are stupid, women are crazy. And
who wrote that book? You did?
No, not me.
Oh. Drew,
how are you?
How are you?
I tell you, I have a lot of trouble saying no. I said yes.
Drew, you want to come on the show? Sure.
Well, what I say? Okay.
Well, we're so glad having you, man. You are a great inspiration. We had you on our Power Up Breakfast earlier today, and it was so dynamic. It was just amazing to hear the things you can impart. And I believe is what you have in you is a game changer for a lot of people, because the last thing most of us want to think about are the areas we need to improve. Sometimes, like I think you said it today, we don't want to feel like we are failures, right? We don't want to feel less than. So sometimes the pretense is better than the reality of what we're really dealing with. And so first, as we always do, we want you to kind of introduce yourself, tell the folks a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Absolutely. Thank you, gentlemen. Always a pleasure. Geez, I mean, I always start by saying I'm the father of 3 awesome children. They're the center of my lives, Matthew, Nicholas, and Emma. Hi, guys. And, whenever I tell my story, I always talk about the, mid-July of 2015 when I found out I was getting divorced. And that, that's when stuff like that happens, too many people tie that to themselves, like define themselves by circumstances. And I learned my lesson. But I was in a healthcare for 24 years. That was my initial profession. And I owned a franchise. After I left healthcare, I owned a franchise for 3.5 years, helping companies save money. It wasn't the same as helping patients by the bedside. And Then four faith shaking moments hit me at the end of 2018 and brought me to where I am now. So it's near and dear to my heart to help men really stop struggling silently. And I'm in the men's space, both professionally and personally, to help as many people as I can. And when I help the men, I help the women. So that's basically a little about me.
I love, that's that last statement you made is
Mhm.
key right there. This I wrote something down earlier based on our earlier meeting, and it was, dysfunctional people create dysfunctional relationships,
Mhm.
and functional people create functional relationships. And
Mhm.
I remember before I got married, one of the conversations I had with my wife is I said, if there's anything wrong with our relationship, it has to do with both of us, right? Because
Yeah.
we're the ones bringing the chemistry to the relationship, right?
Mhm.
And and that's just really the bottom line of it is if you want a good, relationships aren't automatically good,
No.
right? You've got to make some adjustments.
Mhm.
Uh, Oscar's been married for how long? You've been married for over 20 years, right? You're muted. I can't hear you.
I'm sorry, I muted myself because I was sneezing. Um, been married for 39 years, and like my wife says, 10 long happy years now.
No, no, but I
But
mean,
no, you're right. It's a two-way conversation. But as men, we pretty much don't listen, and that I think that's one of the problems that we just like zone out. We go in that box in our head that's called a nothing box, and we kind of live there, and we don't really communicate. And one of the things that Drew was talking about is that open communication, that you need to talk. You need to, like you said, you were blindsided when you
Mhm.
got the divorce, but were you really,
Right.
or were you just not paying attention? And that's the
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a good point, and I often say that think about a marriage like speaking two foreign languages. Let's say each partner speaks a different foreign language, and the others never learn that foreign language. That's kind of why the couples that don't the men who don't listen well, they don't understand the thinking language of their partner and vice versa. Women and the way to do that is to learn each other's thinking language. And we don't dive deep enough to find out why a woman thinks the way she does and why a man thinks the way he does. There is a difference. The brains are wired differently. And just like any language, it makes sense that if you want to understand the other person, it behooves you to understand and learn that language. And it goes with the verbal language, the thinking language, and the emotional language, like the love languages. And but it takes effort, right? And people give up too easily nowadays.
yeah, that's the truth. I mean, but here's the thing, right? If you don't know you have a trigger point or,
Mhm.
the big red button, if you don't know what your big red button is,
Right.
somebody's going to press it at some point,
Mhm.
especially in an intimate setting, right? And
Right.
intimacy is not just, sleeping together.
Right.
There's a different level of intimacy when it comes to marriage because now you're getting into the crux of childhood dysfunction and you're getting the
Right.
crux of, what you saw relationships as a child and growing up and what manhood is to you and what being a man who is married is versus being a man who is single.
Mhm.
All of these defined definitions start taking place when you get married. And
Mhm.
because of the uniqueness of not just having the female male ingredient to work with, but the personality ingredient, right? That makes us unique is now you
Mhm.
not just have to learn about her as a female and yourself as a male in that situation. Now you
Mhm.
have to learn about the personality
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
the triggers that lie within that closet of hurt that wasn't dealt with, right?
Mhm.
On both
Mhm.
sides,
Right.
and it
Absolutely.
all really comes down to how much of that garbage are you willing to deal with within yourself, and to make the relationship work.
Right. Well, I mean, what you said very importantly is within yourself, and I think the work must begin way before you even get married, way before you even meet the person you're going to get married. And more often than not, I mean, you think about when we're about 7 to 8 years old, half of our belief system's already been formed for us. And by the time we're 18, about 90% of our belief system's been formed just by the people we're with and what we're hearing from our family, education, all that stuff. And if your that belief system that's been created for you is not aligned with your standards, right? Then you as a misaligned human being are living a different a belief system that doesn't match your standards. So you're not that person. And most people by age 18, 19 aren't looking inward and doing self-reflection. They know nothing about the world. And so we're making these big decisions like marriage and stuff like that when you have a prefrontal cortex, which is your judgment and decision making one that's not going to be mature until men are about 30 and women are about 23, 24. So you really put that into it. If you don't know yourself and you don't know where you're going, how are you going to pick the right partner? It's a
Wow.
challenge.
Okay.
That's why you
Now,
got 50% of marriages
okay,
got a divorce. You know, there are divorces. So it's,
That's why
you
sometimes
know,
arranged marriages work really well.
that's true.
The people looking from the
it's,
outside in, like these
yeah,
two people will go together.
Hmm.
yeah,
Hmm.
yep. Yeah. I mean, if you don't know who you are, if you haven't worked on your identity and really know who you are as a human, then when you would start attracting people different from who you are, and those end up being the people you end up marrying. So I always recommend you got to get to know yourself as young as you are. Have a mentor who can help you look inward. So yeah, there's a lot of theories I have. A lot of stuff are substantiated by science, but
Well, let me tell you, just based on my Christian foundation, and I think people
mhm,
misunderstand Christianity, right?
I do too. I agree.
I don't think, I think we think Christianity is supposed to be like a religion, but it's not.
Mhm,
I don't think Jesus came and did what he did for us to establish another religion. Okay,
mhm.
this
Agree.
is a whole.
Yep.
It's about life, right? If you listen to
Mhm,
his messages, it's all about a restoration to a new mindset towards life.
mhm,
And
mhm.
if you don't get that, if you don't have that mind to say, you know what, I do have things I need to change, and if I
Right.
want to live a better life, right? Grandma
Mhm,
wasn't
mhm.
right. Grandpa was definitely not right. You know?
Right.
And
Mhm,
so, I mean, they gave us the best they could, but
mhm.
there's some things that are not applicable to the world
Right.
that we
Right.
live in today. You can't smack your
Right.
kid in the head and be like,
Mhm,
go outside and play now, right?
mhm, mhm. Yeah.
A lot of things
Yeah.
that we used to do in the 80s, we have consequences for them now in the 2000s.
Right. Right. I think the one thing that's been I think consistent teaching is that life is linear.
Wow.
Every generation, from what I've even talking to my grandparents, they're no longer with us, and my parents and other generations, we're always told if you do A, whatever the societal acceptance is, you do A plus B plus C plus D, E is going to happen,
Mhm, mhm.
right? So regardless of the generation, you believe you're doing the right thing because you're told it's the right
Right.
thing, and then the outcome doesn't turn out well, and then people start to chase results, which is unhealthy. So I honestly believe part of parenting, and parents need to be taught this before they become parents, is tell first know that life isn't linear because we all know it.
Mhm,
And if you can prepare somebody when they're aware that life is not
mhm.
linear, then we growing up will be prepared for when something a curveball's thrown our
Right.
way or something gets in between those
Mhm,
letters. We're not prepped as kids. That life is challenge and you got to work at it. It's not going to be what you expect. So life is not a straight
mhm.
path. And if you do something, it's not always right. But don't it's not you don't lose. I believe in failure. I believe failure is important. It makes us stronger. And when you fail, you don't lose. You win and
Mhm,
learn, right? We win and learn. It's not taught like that in
mhm.
education. They don't want you to fail. You're told not to
Right.
fail. Don't climb the tree. You're going to get hurt. you know. So yeah, I think we have to go way back to when a kid's in diapers and the parents are new parents to I don't know, because school's not going to teach it.
School,
Well,
no, well,
There's
yeah, no, no.
no.
there's
There's money 101, there's health 101, there's sex
And
101, there's real life 101.
you don't want the school to teach your kids,
No, and they step in.
right?
They're stepping in.
Because
No,
you
no.
know, I who
well,
said that? Who said that
here's
from
what I've learned is schools teach you to follow rules.
right?
And you need to
Mhm.
follow rules because the
Yeah.
people that rule you need for you to think the way they do.
Right.
Anybody that thinks outside the box gets
Mhm.
beaten up. If you look
Right.
at the people that are billionaires now, those people, a lot of them didn't finish college. They sought their own
Right.
path. They went to
Yeah.
mentors that could mentor them in what they needed to learn.
Right.
I read Robert Kiyosaki and those people after I lost my job. I'm like, what did I do wrong? I studied, I did everything I was supposed to do.
Mm.
And
Yep.
they teach you not to fail in school. And Thomas Edison, they said tried the light bulb 10,000 times. He failed 10,000
Mm.
times and before he
Yeah.
got the light bulb. And he said, I didn't fail. I just
Yeah.
found 10,000 ways that didn't work.
Not to do it. Yeah. Well, Oscar, and I think you and I have spoken about this, but a lot of people do need to realize where our education system came from. I mean, during the agricultural revolution, when the farmers were the ones who knew what to do, how to do it, and with their hand, they asked a lot of questions from each other. They learned, and then when the Industrial Revolution happened, those people who were running the Industrial Revolution, they wanted employees. They didn't want people to ask questions, but what they ended up doing is they hired the farmers to go into the Industrial Revolution, and the farmers are telling them the better processes. This cog will work better, but they didn't like that. They wanted to have people who just listened. And so that's why they started the school system the way it is now. Raise your hand, speak when you're spoken to. And they did not want critical thinkers. And look at what's happening now. Our kids, the youth, are not critical thinkers. So it all happened back then. Exactly what Oscar's saying. It's I think the school system, colleges, everything, we're here to raise employees for employers.
Yeah.
Which is why like entrepreneurism is such a challenge, because there's not as much there to support us in the standard academic school system.
And
Just a
but
thought.
people that are successful, that they use the word fail as an acronym at first attempt in learning. So you failed. All right, fine. Now what? And we talked about this earlier today, and we ran out of time. Where people saying, they feel guilty about the past, and I was thinking about it, and I'm like, I would feel guilty about the past if I kept living in that sort of whatever it is that I did to feel guilty about.
Right.
But if I did something wrong and I learned from it, now I don't feel guilt because, hey, I screwed up and now I learned what not to do. So that guilt goes away. My thing is that guilt is an anchor to live that life that, you screwed up and you want to stay in that mindset.
Yeah. Well, also, I mean, if you make a mistake and you're comfortable in your own skin, you own up to it. You own up to it. Be responsible. If they say, I own, and then the guilt, there's no such thing as guilt when you own up to something you did wrong. But if you don't think it's wrong, don't apologize. Too many of people worry about what people think of them, so they get called out on something. But if you truly believe it in your heart, don't apologize for believing it. So I don't know. There's so much that we can work on fixing. I think we all have to look in the mirror first. Too many people look out the window and try to judge and fix what they see rather than looking in the mirror and judge and fix what they see. None of us are perfect. So until we reach perfection, stop judging.
No, but here's the thing, right? Is because we all pursue something. There's something in us that is pursuing something, right? And it's that image of who painted that image that you're pursuing, right? Why do you want to be like Barbie? Why do you want to be like Ken? Why do you want to be like Ken and Barbie? Because that's what's been put in your mind as this is what perfect looks like. Right? Perfect body, perfect hair, perfect this, perfect that. And now you're a grown man or you're a grown woman and you're looking for a mate that looks like this, that fits that bill, and it's a program. It's not real. It's all
Right.
fantasy. That's like,
Hmm.
us growing up around, reading comic books and Superman, right? Now,
Hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
know any guy in the world that doesn't want to be the hero, right?
Right. It's
And
true. It's in our DNA.
it's in our
Right.
DNA. We want to come out on
Hmm.
top. We want to be that guy that can answer the questions. We are meant to solve problems. That's
Hmm.
how our makeup
Yep.
works, right?
Yeah.
But,
Yep.
there
Absolutely.
is Clark Kent and then there is Superman.
Hmm. Hmm.
But there's that
Absolutely.
double-edged sword. We've been watching Superman, knowing that Clark Kent is actually Superman, and he's going to suck it up, and he's going to stand in front of bullets, do whatever he needs to do. And we grow up with like, okay, we are Superman, and we're going to just I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to tell people how I feel. Superman never started crying. He's like, we're having a bad day. I ran into this kryptonite, and it ruined my day. You don't see that. It's like I
Well,
found
you know
kryptonite,
what?
and I
Though
got over it.
you mentioned kryptonite, though, Oscar. At least the message there is that a superhero that everybody thinks is invincible has something that can crack them. We all do, and I think that's the
Right.
message that
That's
I've
the
taken as I've
message.
gotten older with Superman
Right.
is that Clark Kent. He didn't necessarily put on a mask, so to speak, when he goes in the phone booth and turns into Superman. It's part of him. It's part of his
Mhm.
identity.
Mhm.
But the kryptonite thing still lets Superman know that I'm not invincible. I'm not perfect. There's a higher source. There's something bigger than
Mhm.
me. And I think we as human beings, in order to really live a fulfilled life, we have to believe that we are not the
Ultimate.
ultimate
Right.
power. You
Right.
know, there is a higher source, whether it's God, the universe, whatever but you need to know that, or else your ego is going to
I
self-destruct.
love to. You know what? I am glad you said that because I love to make the correction when it comes to God and the universe. Right
Mm,
now, the universe is an entity all of itself, and God is an entity of all
absolutely.
of Himself. Right,
Right.
because they're all living mechanisms, and the
Hmm.
universe is greater than us in the sense of
Hmm.
systems. We
Yeah.
think the system is God, but imagine that God is greater than that system, and
Yeah.
the
Yep.
system that we're living in is just so
Mhm.
complex.
Yep.
It's impossible to say that an intellectual being did not create all of this because we can't even understand the little atom that that
Mhm.
is. We
Yeah.
can't even understand matter that's around us and how it comes together and breaks apart
Right.
and is renewable. Like Sarah pointed out in the
Mhm.
meeting today, how a
Yeah.
tree branch can fall off, but it can be replanted. Right?
Yep.
That's you
Absolutely.
know who creates such a ecosystem that
Hmm.
can replenish itself, and
Yeah.
grow new things out of old things. I mean, I think it's amazing just to be alive and to be able to think about the dynamics that pull us all together. I think
I agree. Anytime you have more questions than answers, there's a higher power.
absolutely.
And the thing is about people can believe what they want. um Things happen for a reason, and I actually believe that, like, what we call reality is not reality. This world is an illusion,
Right.
right? The reality is really in our brains, because all of our thoughts are based on our perception of what we see,
Hmm.
right? And so if we just live with our own thoughts, more often than not, what is really happening is not what we're thinking,
True.
because we're all one, and we're not if you're not assimilating or communicating with people outside your head, you're building your own reality in your head. That's why so many people are during COVID, it clobbered people, because you put people into isolation and they're with themselves and they can't go anywhere. There's not a lot of positives come from that.
Yeah, we are what we perceive. Like, if I
Absolutely.
look at you, Drew, and I say, "Man, Drew doesn't like me," look how he just scratched the back of his head. He's kind of nervous, right? Oh, I mean, if my perception, if I start reading
Hmm.
into my perception of you towards me
Yeah.
based on my
Yeah.
past experience,
Yeah.
people, right?
Absolutely.
You might be thinking, "Man, there's a must be a bug bag here or something," right? You're scratching,
Yeah.
because you itch
Yeah.
simply. But some people read into everything
Oh my gosh.
that
Yep.
you
That's
do.
why texting is so dangerous, because you
It
can't
is.
hear
Yep.
the inflection in a text. So You read the
Yep.
text at whatever mindset you're in. It's like, what do you mean by that?
Yeah.
Like, just said,
Email too.
Yeah.
Email
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
I mean, if an individual is not taught that if you write in capital letters, that means you're yelling at somebody in the written thing, right? I mean, what if the caps locks was on? You wouldn't
Right.
notice it. I mean, they're yelling at you.
Exactly.
It's like,
Exactly.
right. And the answer really goes back to understanding whatever language is the person you're with speaks, whether it's the written, the thinking, or the. We got to ask questions, open-ended questions out of curiosity.
Mhm.
That's so powerful. Then you learn a lot more than you don't have to assume
you know,
and make up your own, story.
what's funny is, and I think about that. I ran a lab down in Costa Rica for 5 years, and I'm coming from New York, and I have a New York attitude, work ethic, and everything. And down there, it's a little more laid back. And I was judging everybody by New York standards.
Mm-hmm.
And and after a little while, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to judge. I'm going to ask this person why this is going on. And the answer was 180 degrees from what I thought.
Right.
So it's like, hey, why did this happen? I'm like, would have never thought of it coming from, my reality from New York. So,
Right.
ask questions before you judge and yeah, I got all the answers. No, you don't.
Ask
Yeah.
questions,
Yeah.
man. I really believe in that. And I think that's what you do, Drew. I think that you help people by giving them the right questions to ask, right?
Mhm.
About themselves,
Yeah.
about their environment, and about,
Right.
their relationships. But men are tough. I think men are tough to deal with
Mhm.
when it comes to
Oh, yeah.
digging in like that. How do you approach that? The ego system. I didn't call it the ecosystem. The ego system.
Ecosystem. Yeah.
you know.
No, that's good. Every when I work with mostly men in my coaching, but I always start where the person is. Like, where are you at now? And that's by asking, open-ended questions. But I always like to dive into identity. Who are you? And is who you are the same as who you want to be?
And who do you think you are?
And who do you think you are? So it could be your interpretation, but you know what? I try to get to men to get them to the point where they don't care what other people think of them.
Mhm.
That's huge. Most of us do care. I'm a reformed people pleaser. That's all I cared about, what people think of me. And because of that, if I don't think they're going to like me the way I am, then I put a mask on and I appear to be somebody else. That's not good either.
Mhm.
So I really try to assess first how strongly they care what other people think of them. I listen to that answer, and that'll tell me what direction to go with the whole identity
Mhm.
piece. And talk about belief systems and what are your standards, because I believe the definition of happiness is standards plus belief system, because your standards stay the same. Mine, I feel, are honesty, integrity, and authenticity. Belief systems change. So if you're living somebody else's belief system and that's misaligned with your standard, well, that's something we got to talk about. Let's change the belief system. And we talk about where they got that from and all that. And once we get through the identity and the person knows who they are and they can design and define their own identity, we move to removing doubt,
Mhm.
all that self-doubt, because the self-doubt came from them being a different
Mhm.
identity,
Mhm.
right? But now that they know who they are and they know where they're going, let's get rid of that doubt. It's irrelevant. It's an illusion.
It-
Once it's gone
That's
and you're on your growth mindset, then you write your own story instead of the story that somebody told you have to
mhm.
write. So that's how, I mean, but yes, it's a challenge. Some men don't want it, but it's where they came from. So you got to find out what is that trauma, what's holding them back, what haven't they addressed in their
You
past.
know, when in some of the parables in the Bible, we're described as a house, right? And how a house is built is based on its foundation and going up from there. And whatever the house can withstand is based on elements around it. If the
Right.
foundation is not right, if the structure is not right, the bones aren't right, you know,
Mm-hmm.
all you need is a good gust of wind and your house is gone.
Mm-hmm. Goes
Right?
down.
They used
Right.
to have these houses in Jamaica made up of like wood and zinc.
Mm-hmm.
And when a hurricane came, they were the first ones to disappear. Okay, I
But they were
mean,
the easiest to rebuild, though.
and
There you go.
true,
There you go.
true, right?
Yep.
That's
But
practical.
there's the one that you have to rebuild, and there's the one that withstands the whole storm. And you don't have, all you have to do is maybe replace the roof, right? That's the weakest part of the
Right.
house. So
Yeah.
if what I'm saying with all of that is there are parts of us that are when we're being built that somebody had to give us identity. There's some things that
Mhm.
are already built in us, and it's almost instinctive. I look at my daughter, and I see some instinctive characteristics in her, to where it's just DNA talking, right? She just responds based on her makeup. But there's some
Yeah.
things that even in our interaction with her, that's establishing identity, right? That's
Yes.
establishing
Yes.
value. It is how
Hmm.
it's important to be valuable to yourself, but we want to
Yeah.
feel valuable in the environment that we're in.
Right.
So
Right.
that helps us to form our identity as well,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And so it's very important for us to be careful the ingredients that we're allowing people to use to help build
Hmm.
our identity and our self esteem.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that your daughter's unique. Her uniqueness is that identity that she's developing.
Hmm.
And if adults and parents step in and say, no, 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 that's not what you're supposed to do. Do this. Right now, you're shutting down the inner child. And a lot of we adults still have that inner child in us. And we've been saying no to it ever since they said, okay, now you're an adult. Now you're 18, different world. You can't have fun anymore. You can't laugh anymore. You can't do this. You can't do that. No, 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 no. Putting limits on us. The inner child in us has no limits. And he is still there. And it's time to start saying yes to him. So to your point, Phil,
Hmm.
we all start somewhere,
Right.
right? And Oscar in the meeting this morning, he showed a really cool video in that inspiration thing talking about trees and who you want to surround yourself with and all that. And it talked first about the leaves and then the branch and then the
Hmm.
roots. I'm going to mention the roots first because it's exactly what you're saying about the foundation of the home. The roots of a tree are the foundation, the standards of an individual, of a human. That's where the identity is built by those
Right.
roots. And then from there comes the trunk of the
Hmm.
tree, and then the branches, and then the leaves. And it goes from stronger to weaker,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? That's why foundations have to be strong. We need to be like that as human beings. You have a strong identity and a boundary that protects your identity, then you can still be empathic and compassionate and emotional. Just don't let it crack that core of your self-identity because it changes who you are, and then you're somebody else, and it's you're misinterpreting
And
yourself,
it's
misaligning.
in our language. Like, you need to be rooted to your, and like, yeah, it's you
There you
need
go.
that,
Yeah.
the roots.
Right. Core issues. That's why they say core issues. Address the core issues, not the symptoms.
Hmm.
Pharmaceutical companies handle the symptoms. I'm sorry, I attack that seriously. Most of the quote unquote healing that the outside want us to do is masking the root cause. The powers that be really don't want us to heal. If you want us to heal, let us dive deeper into the core issue rather than the
Yeah, that
Think
was
symptom.
about
one of the weird things they found. It's the placebo effect, and they did blood tests on the
Mm.
placebo effect and found out our bodies actually made the chemicals that it needed to heal whatever it was. So
with
Yeah, our body's an
that's the thing,
amazing
right?
creation.
I
You're
mean,
right. Our
there's
body
some things
has
that it helps with, but I
yeah.
believe that it's unbalanced, right? If you're getting something that's going to help you, it also has an ingredient in there that destroys you, right?
Well,
So it
yeah,
helps your heart
yeah,
but kills your liver. It
uh-huh,
helps your,
yeah.
you know, your brain, but it destroys something else, right?
When you hear that a pill that's supposed to help eczema could kill you, it's like
Right.
I don't get that. I'm not going to ingest something that might
Right.
what?
Eczema.
It's like,
I don't want to. I don't want to lose my breathing capacity because, you know. But anyway, listen. We gotta go. We gotta go. We're running out of
yep,
time. Uh,
absolutely.
Go ahead and tell the folks how they can reach you and and get in touch with you so you can help. You can help them get to that next level.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So my website is profitcompassion.com, and you can email me at drew@profitcompassion.com. And we'll end up being able to set up some time to talk. But I lead a men's group called Tribal Stoics with my business partner Keegan Schaefer, who is the founder. We do talk about the philosophy, the Stoicism, which is over 2,000 years old, really a way to harness our emotions as men. It's a safe space, and from that, I also do one-on-one coaching with men, and I really do focus on developing your identity, helping you develop your identity, remove that doubt, and really lead with purpose. And that's really write your own story. So a lot of stuff I'd love to help you with. I do more support than help, because I just help you. I support you in bringing out that inner greatness that you already have.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Drew, for joining us again. You can catch part one of this on the Phoenix National Network platforms, on YouTube. And also, if you want to know more, go to pnnstationplus.com. Any last words, Oscar Capel?
Duck and cover. I don't know.
Uh,
see, Drew, I serve as a bad example of one of those people that never did grow up. So yeah, it's
That's a good example.
Yes.
I will push back. That's a good example. You've helped me laugh a little more in my
and I think
in my
that's why
50s.
he's so happy at his ripe young age.
yes.
Yep. Yep. Keep up the good work, Oscar. You'll rub off on us.
It's a
sooner or
gnome
later.
thing. Yeah, we're just happy people.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much again. Take care, and we will see you next week.
Right.